Hey guys, so we're doing something very special today. Today we're interviewing the one and only associate pastor of the Pentecostals of Lafayette. The first time I met this guy was on a flag football field. Now mind you, he's the associate pastor, but yet I'm meeting him on a flag football field. I was invited to play flag football at the church, and he was there playing as well. Learned that both our names were Derek, and I just began to see a new side of him. That was my first time meeting him actually, but to see him as a pastor yet playing flag football with the members of his church was awesome. So today I want to welcome our associate pastor, Derek Weber.
Hey, Derek, good to see you, bud. First of all, I just want to say thank you for inviting me to be a part of this. Love you and Millie. You guys are doing an awesome job as our student pastors. I just want to say I love our youth group, our teenagers, our junior high school students. You guys rock. Y'all are awesome. And we're looking forward to great things coming in the near future. Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, question number one. What's the best advice you have ever received?
It's kind of a tough one, but there's three that really kind of stick out to me. Number one, some advice my mother gave me, and it rings true. And if you know Karen Weber in any way, you've probably heard her say this: early is on time is late, and late is unacceptable. And we laugh when we say that, but really it's true. You in the business world, you hear time is money. We always want to be respectful of people's time, and time is productivity. But don't waste people's time. Don't waste your time. So be a good steward of your time. And so that was one thing. The second thing is kind of a lesson that both my dad and my grandpa Pete taught me, and they said it in different ways, but really it was the same lesson. And it was, whatever you are, be the best. Whatever you do it the best. If you're a manager at a bank, be the best manager. If you're a pastor, be the best pastor you can be. If you're a waiter or waitress, be the best server you can be. Whatever you're doing, be the best. Do it to the best of your abilities. Learn tips and tricks. Educate yourself on the field you're in. Whatever you're doing, be the best that, I guess, so to speak, that you can be. And then the third thing is something one of my pastors told me when we were living in Alexandria, Brother Terry Schock. He said, continue to grow yourself, continue to challenge yourself. And there's one thing he said that really stuck out to me. He said, don't live 1 year 30 times. He said, there's a lot of people that will live the same year over and over and over and over and over again. They won't challenge themselves. They won't educate themselves. They won't learn something new. They won't they won't change what they're doing. They do the same thing over and over and over and over every year. And what happens, he gave me this example. He said, when you're going to fill out applications, at a job, he said, I would rather a 25 or 30-year-old with 3 years experience over a 40 or 50-year-old that has 1 year experience 20 times. And what he was meaning by that was, every year, grow yourself. Find something to do that will challenge you, that will grow you, that will push you beyond your limits, past your comfort zone, past the boundaries of what you think you can do. Learn to play an instrument, learn to write a paper, learn to just anything. Learn to cut the grass a different way. Learn to, if you're right-handed, learn to use your left hand when you're writing, or learn to cook. Learn a new skill. Challenge yourself. Do something new every year, even if it's just one thing. He said, pick one thing and grow each and every year. So I would say those three things are probably the best advice I've ever gotten, and there's been tons throughout the years, but I would say those three. So number one was from my mom. Early is on time is late is unacceptable. Be a steward of your time, respect other people's times, and you will be successful. You'll accomplish great things. And then whatever you are, be the best. Whatever you're doing, do it to the best of your ability. And then the last one we just talked about, continue to grow yourself every year, challenge yourself, educate yourself, do something to push yourself beyond the limits and beyond and outside of your comfort zone.
I like that because most of the time when people hear be the best at anything, we think we have to be better than the next boy or better than the next girl or better than the next man or woman. But it really just means be the best you can be. So I love that. That's great advice. Thank you, Pastor Derek. Question number 2. What does it feel like to have your life dedicated to ministry? How would you encourage a young person feeling led to a life of ministry?
Ooh, that's a good one. Life dedicated to ministry. And how would I encourage a young person for a life of ministry? Look, it's like this. Ministry is simply service to God's kingdom. That's it. That's all it is. Ministry is service to God's kingdom. When you say ministry, too many people immediately think pulpit, preaching, pastor, worship leader. That's kind of what your mind typically goes to at first. Well, what are you doing are you serving in ministry? Oh yeah, I'm preaching every now and then, or I'm a worship leader, or I'm a student pastor. That's the things we immediately think of when we hear ministry. But growing up in a pastor's home as a PK, as a preacher's kid, that was our life. God's kingdom, the church, that was our life. Whatever needed to be done in his kingdom, we made a way for it to get done. For example, I think I have done or served in every area of ministry of our church except women's ministry. I was one of the kids' church leaders with Jesse and Christina Noel, who's Niall's mom and dad. I was one of those leaders. I helped head up men's ministry. I have sang in the choir, the youth choir. I have done youth ensemble. They kicked me out. They didn't want me back, but I've done that. I served at the old church before we got all the fancy, I say fancy, but all the projectors and the computers and lyrics. Before we got all that in the old church, it was the overhead projector with the transparency slides. I was over that ministry. I was the one that was on the platform. When they would switch from verse to chorus, I'd pull the transparency page off and put the new one on, and it would go up on the screen. And I did that. I helped clean the church, still do from time to time. I've cleaned baptistry. I've worked in Sunday school. I've done nursery. I've done kids church. I've been on youth staff. I've been the youth pastor. I've been, we just made wherever there was a need, we filled in and made sure it got done. And that's what I wish more people would understand, especially young people. Ministry is not pulpit. Think about it. What you see in a pulpit is on Sunday mornings. There's so much more that happens between Sunday to Sunday. Ministry is calling people to check on them. Ministry is going to check on elders in the church who are homebound, or ministry is calling people who are sick or going by the hospital, see them, how they're doing, praying for them. Ministry is teaching a Bible study. Ministry is vacuuming a floor. Ministry is telling cars where to park and helping traffic on church days. Ministry is driving the golf cart. Ministry is creating copies for crosswalk classes or Sunday school classes. See, all that's a ministry. Ministry is not restricted to a pulpit or a preacher or a microphone. Ministry is simply service to God's kingdom. And I guess to go along with part of that is how to get involved in ministry, or how to, if you're feeling led to ministry, how to get involved. My advice would be this: wherever you can, get involved. If someone needs help making copies, do it. If someone needs help setting up a classroom, do it. If someone needs help changing light bulbs, do it. Whatever you can do to help God's kingdom, do it. And the Bible says, if I can't trust you with the little things, how can he trust you with the great things, the big things? You've got to start somewhere. If you ever hear pastors speak, he'll tell you the same thing. He served in kids church. He did magic. He served on youth committees. He sang in choirs. Sister Weber did the same thing. My mom, she did the same thing. Sunday school teaching. My grandmother played the organ. She was a pastor's wife. She taught Bible studies. You don't just, ministry is not just pulpit. Ministry is service to his kingdom. And that's the most important thing. So if you feel led to ministry, if you feel God calling you to some sort of ministry, even if you feel so confident that God has called you to pastor, if you are confident that God has said, I want you to be a pastor or I want you to be a missionary, still get involved wherever you can. Change a light bulb, vacuum a floor, move chairs, move tables, sing in a choir, type up announcements, whatever you have to do to get involved and serve God's kingdom, do it, because he will reward you. God does see those things, and he will open up doors for you because you are willing and available to do the little things, and he will open up doors to do the great things.
Yes, I like that, Pastor D. That's awesome. That's awesome advice. I like it because many times when God calls us to a place, it's not necessarily the place that he wants us to start at. Like Sister Millie told me one day, she said, the person that serves the most grows the most. So I think that's awesome advice. Thank you for that. All right, so now question number 3. Who inspires you and why?
Oh man, that's a good one. Goodness, that's a long list. I guess first of all, I try to find something in everybody to inspire me. I try to find something that somebody says that I would take that and apply it to my life. Even if I'm watching somebody from a distance, maybe I don't have a personal relationship with them, but I watch them from a distance. I would try to take something from their actions, their words, something from their life to inspire me. And, because I always want to make myself better as well. But I guess if I had to list a few, number one, obviously, would be my parents, my mom and dad. They put us in a great position for a loving home, loving family. Were we a perfect family? No. Did we disagree? Yeah. We weren't perfect, but you know what? They made a safe place for me and my brother. And I knew that no matter what happened in life, no matter what I faced, I could always come home and mom and dad would, be there. And, my parents believe in tough love, but it was love, and I could always come home. They provided a safe home for us, and I'm thankful for that. So obviously my parents. I would have to say Pastor Anthony Mangan, for his passion and his energy. He is one of the most passionate people you'll ever meet, and I hope to have half his energy, when I get up to that age. And I'm very thankful for Pastor Anthony Mangan. He has spoken into my life many times, and so thankful for him. Another one a guy that I have a personal relationship with, one of my mentors, is Pastor Aaron Soto from Wisconsin. He has a knack, just a natural ability to connect with people. It's uncanny. I've not met many people like him that can connect with people the way he does, the way he loves people, and incredible leadership skills, incredible leadership lessons and skills from his life and ministry. So Aaron Soto would be another one. Byron Starks was my high school basketball coach. If it was not for Coach Byron in my teenage years, I don't know if I would be where I am today. I really don't. He taught patience. He taught love. He taught kindness. He taught how to overcome adversity. And when I was a teenager, I just thought it was basketball practice. It was basketball lessons. But when I look back on it now, conversations he and I had, and he was teaching me life lessons. He was teaching me how to be a man. He was teaching me how to, when it came time to be a father, to be a husband, to be a family man. And I remember on away trips, when we had away games, I always wanted to make sure I sat in the front seat of the van next to him. And it wasn't because I was trying to suck up to him or, anything like that. I just enjoyed talking to him. and we would talk basketball. We would talk life. He taught me many life lessons. I'm very thankful for my high school basketball coach, and we're still in contact today. He's still very much a part of our lives, and so I would definitely say Byron Starks. Another one would be John Maxwell. I have not met him. I hope to one day. He is an author of dozens of books, incredible leader. He spent time as a pastor. When you think leadership, his name is probably one of the first that come to mind, John Maxwell. His communication skills, the way that he can bring a story to life, the way that he can teach a lesson through communication, through words, it's just unbelievable. So one day I hope to meet him. He is. I have a lot of his books. I watch a lot of his stuff online, but John Maxwell would be one that inspires me. And then my wife. I would definitely have to say my wife does, because she's always encouraging me. She's always challenging me. She's always pushing me to be better. She makes sure that I don't get stuck in a rut. And my personality is I'm very laid back. By nature I'm a procrastinator, so I'm very laid back. Just kind of go with the flow. And if you're not careful, sometimes that can be a detriment, because you just get lax. You get lazy if you're not careful. And she's always there to encourage me and lift me up, push me. When I'm having a bad day, she encourages me. She's there for me, and which is why it's very important who you marry. Young people, if you're still single and you're not married, and it's very important who you marry. Find somebody that even on the hard days, even on the toughest times, you will have somebody that. When you come home, it may be the worst day of your life, but they're there to encourage you. Somebody that challenges you to be better. Someone that pushes you to grow and learn and be better. So, and again, that's just a handful of people, but there's, I try to take something from everybody. Anybody I meet, I try to take something from them that would inspire me, or something that I can apply to my life, something that I can learn from them, whether it be their actions, their life, their career, their words, something from each and everybody that I can learn. So I would have to say that's who inspires me the most if I had to put a list together.
Awesome. Thank you, Pastor D, for these questions and answers. And this is just the beginning, guys, of this interview. So I'd like to thank Pastor D for all the time he's put in answering these questions and pouring into you guys. Like I said, this is the beginning. This is just the beginning. So keep tuning in every week as we begin to post the rest of the interview each week. It's going to be awesome content, awesome information, awesome advice, and just awesome spiritual direction from your associate pastor. So I just pray that you listen in and tune in so that you can get so much food, spiritual food, to eat off of from our associate pastor. We love you guys.